right, good morning, class. Hope everyone is doing well. It is Thursday, April the 14th. Very exciting day last night in terms of sports. Playoff hockey started. Tampa won 3-2. Penguins won 5-2. The Blues won 1-0 overtime. In basketball, history was made where the Warriors won their 73rd game of the season, which is an NBA record. Kobe Bryant played his last night, dropped 60 points. And in terms of political news this morning, I believe the Supreme Court of Canada ruled that our federal government is now responsible for Métis and non-status Aboriginal people, which means that hopefully Indigenous and Aboriginal people will have more equal rights in the future. Over the next hour, we will finish up PLAR History and Geography for this term 2A. We will be going over what we talked about last class on latitude and longitude. We'll finish that up. We will also be going over assignment number 16. We will do some of those questions together. And finally, we will go over, I'll give the class some examples of questions or what you can expect when you're writing your tests or your exams for this course. Again, my name is Jonathan. I'm your teacher for PLAR History and Geography. We're at the end of term 2A. We have made it. This is the end. Like always, feel free to call in, listen to our lesson, or watch. If you have internet access using the Bridget softboard, call me during my office hours. Call me on my cell phone in the evenings, on the weekends if you're having difficulties. And if I'm not there, just simply leave a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Email me, Facebook me. Again, all the lessons are recorded, posted on my Facebook link, onto my YouTube channel, and on the Warsaw Archive page. Again, hopefully students are still working on your assignments and that you're slowly finishing up. Okay, we'll talk more about that as we conclude our class today. Again, if you want a USB stick with all the lessons, it is absolutely for free. Just let me know or let any of the PLAR teachers know and we can get that set up for you. Okay, USB stick with all the lessons in folders with all lessons included. Just let us know and we can get that to you. Okay? Alright, so let's finish up what we talked about last class on latitude and longitude, and then we'll get to assignment 16. But before we do that, let's quickly go over what we learned about last class on latitude and longitude. Let's refresh our memory so that we have a good, crisp understanding of what the two terms mean, latitude and longitude. Again, our learning goals for last class were latitude, longitude, equator, prime meridian, directions, and maps. So again, when looking at latitude and longitude, it's really good if we're able to integrate our math knowledge or our math skills as the same skills and knowledge are applied. We are using a grid. Again, you have seen grids when doing math, when you're plotting, linear equations or whatnot. There's the y-axis, the x-axis. Okay, so applying those two knowledge when looking at latitude and longitude will definitely come a long way. We basically just change the name of the y-axis and the x-axis into other fancy names, such as the equator and the prime meridian. Again, a map with grids. Again, it's really important that we know our sense of directions, the four cardinal directions, okay? Starting from the very top, we're going clockwise. We got north, east, south, west. Okay, if you can't remember that, there's many different acronyms or way to remember, such as never eat shredded wheats. Okay, so start from the top, north, east, southwest, going a clockwise direction. Okay, so we need to know where's north, where's south, east, and west, especially when looking at latitude and longitude. Okay, especially north and south lines, east and west lines. Okay, those are very important. Okay, if we're going upwards, north, going to the left, that's west, going to the right, that's east, going to the bottom, that's south. Okay, so make sure we understand and know our sense of directions and where each direction is pointing to. Again, applying our math knowledge, we got the equator and we got the prime meridian. In other words, simple, all the fancy terms we're looking at math, that's known as the y-axis and the x-axis. Okay, x-axis for the equator, y-axis for the prime meridian. Okay. All right, so let's go over what the equator is. Again, the equator is an imaginary line. All these lines that we're talking about. Perfect. Thank you, Tom. Hopefully everyone can hear me now. So we got the equator. Again, all these lines that we talked about are imaginary lines. So the equator is an imaginary line that is horizontal, straight across the middle of the globe. Okay, similar to the x-axis and looking at math. Okay, so the equator simply measures how far distance you are north or south. Okay, so the equator is like the middle point is measured in 0 degrees, and then above the equator it is north, and then south of the equator is south. Then we got the prime meridian. Again, very, very similar to the equator, but it is an imaginary line that is absolutely vertical, straight down the middle of the globe. Okay, vertical line, starting from the North Pole, going all the way down towards the South Pole. Okay, again, imaginary line. And then on the left-hand side of the prime meridian is west, and then on the right-hand side is east. Okay, so vertical, prime meridian, horizontal, equator. So now let's apply that in terms of looking at latitude and longitude. So latitude, again, imaginary lines that runs east and west. Okay, they are parallel lines, which means that they are the same distance apart, used to measure the distance north or south of the equator. Okay, so we want to see how far we are north or how far we are south of the equator we are based on latitude lines. Again, think of horizontal, okay? Think of lat for flat, okay? And then that's flat lines. Boom, we got latitude, okay? Hopefully that is easier to remember. Again, pictures of latitude lines. Okay, we went over this last class. Okay, so again, horizontal straight lines are latitude lines, and they're used to measure how far you are away from the equator, whether north or south. Whereas longitude, again, imaginary lines, but they're vertical lines. They're not parallel. They're not the same distance apart, and they run north or south. Okay, up and down lines, vertical lines, and they are used to measure the distance west or east of the prime meridian. Okay, all these lines start at the North Pole and they go all the way down and they meet at the South Pole. Okay, all these lines touch one another. Again, illustrations. Okay. All right. So last class we left off at looking at how to write latitude and longitude lines. Again, we want to write latitude first, followed by longitude. Okay, so it needs to go the number of degrees, whether it's north or south, followed by the longitude degrees, whether it's in east or west. Okay. We did example last class where we looked at the latitude of Dryden, Ontario, and we also looked at the latitude and longitude of Silicon, Ontario. Okay, so I do have more examples to go over. So you have this chart, this picture, this page in your textbook. Okay, it's important because it tells you locating places by latitude and longitude lines. Using this diagram, note how longitude and latitude determine locations on a map. Remember, latitude always is written in first, whether it's north or south, followed by longitude, whether it's east or west. So we got a picture of the globe. Okay, again, it has lines on it. It has the prime meridian, it has the equator, it has latitude, it has longitude. Okay. It has different degrees in terms of units. Okay, it also has 3 locations on it. Okay. So for example, if we were to locate X, let's go with X, which is right here on our map. Okay. If we wanted to locate that specific point, again, based on what we need to know, we need to write latitude first, whether it's north or south, followed by longitude, whether it's east or west. So let's do that together as a class. So we know that, again, based on our knowledge, based on our review, we know that latitude lines are flat, horizontal lines on the map. So in this case, X runs across this line, which is a horizontal line, and it is 30 degrees north. So we'll write that first. 30 degrees north. Okay, that's our latitude line. Then we need to look at longitude lines. Again, longitude lines are vertical lines. So we're going to look at vertical lines and see where X is located near, or if any lines run across X. In this case, I'm going to write it in green. This line right here, that runs through X, and that's our latitude lines. And we know that since it is on the right-hand side of the prime meridian, it has to be east. In this case, we're looking at our units. In this case, it goes right through 30 degrees east. So we will write 30 degrees east for X. Okay, that's how we locate a specific, or how we write latitude and longitude lines. Let's do one more example together. So I'm going to erase all this. All right. So let's try and look at Z. We already did X. So Z, right in the middle of nowhere, some kind of body of ocean. So again, we need to write it in latitude and longitude lines. That's how we know its exact location on a map. So again, we're going to look at latitude line first. And we know that Z is right across this line in green. We know that it is below the equator, so it has to be south. In this case, it is our units, which is 30 degrees south, followed by we need to look at longitude lines. In this case, again, vertical lines. In this case, it goes straight across this line, as we can see. Again, we know based from our knowledge, it is on the left-hand side of the prime meridian, so it has to be west. In this case, it is 30 degrees west for Z. Okay, so not all points are located on exact units. Sometimes we have to estimate, okay, whether it's between 60 or 30 degrees south, give or take. Okay, but in this case, it's on an exact line, which help us to locate latitude and longitude lines. Okay, so that's how we write and locate latitude and longitude lines. Again, latitude first, followed by whether it's north or south, and followed by longitude lines, whether it's east or west. Okay, always remember that. Very, very key, especially when answering questions for assignment number 16. All right. Also in your textbook, you'll see this map. Okay, it should be like the last page in your workbook. Okay, you will need this map to answer questions on assignment 16. Okay, so look at it. There will be questions based on it. Okay, again, it's a map of the globe. Okay, with different continents: North America, South America, Asia, Australia, and so forth. It has the equator, okay, which is the horizontal line across, which is this line right here. That is the equator, okay, and also has the prime meridian, okay. Note that equator and the prime meridian are all both 0 degrees and 0 degrees, okay. Note that. Okay. So you will need to do this map to answer questions on assignment 16. There are different points where it's like A, B, C, and D. You'll have to define some of those points. Okay, so we're gonna do some questions together so that we're on the right track, so we know how to understand what to do, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, assignment number 16. Very different format. We got multiple choice for the first time in PLAR history and geography, and we got fill in the blank. Okay, so for assignment 16, no need to write full sentences or paragraphs or any of that. Just multiple choice and fill in the blank. Okay, it's 13 marks. Okay, not a big assignment. So basically, for multiple choice, you read the statement, read the description, and you pick the answer that suits that description. Okay, so for example, let's look at question number 1. Lines of latitude on a globe shows A, the location of places, B, distance east or west of the prime meridian, or C, distance north or south of the equator. Okay, so in this case, our key word is latitude. So as a class, what do we know about latitude? Can anyone tell me? Well, we know that latitude lines are a horizontal line. They are used to measure the distance away from the equator, whether it's north or south. Okay, so you can use the process of elimination. Okay, location of places, not exactly. B, distance east or west of the prime meridian. No, we know that's longitude. So in this case, the answer would be C. Distance north or south of the equator. Okay, because we know, based on our knowledge, based on the purpose of latitude, it is used to measure the distance north or south of the equator. Equator is horizontal, latitude is also horizontal lines. Okay, so using our prior knowledge, using our understanding, we can go through the process of elimination, and boom, we can get the answer. Okay, let's look at question number 2. Lines of longitude on a globe shows A, the location of places, B, the distance east or west of the prime meridian, or C, distance north or south of the equator. Okay, again, a key word for this one is longitude. We know it's definitely not C, because C is used to measure latitude. It's definitely not A, so it has to be C. Okay, sorry, B. Okay, longitude lines are vertical lines. Okay, prime meridian is also a vertical line. Okay, and it's used to measure how far we are east, how far we are west away from the prime meridian. So the answer in this case would be B. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Number 3, lines of latitudes are also called parallels because they, okay, so again, a key word, we're looking at parallel lines and looking at latitude. Lines of latitude are also called parallels because they are A, they never meet, B, meet at the North Pole, or C, meet at the prime meridian. So based from our prior knowledge, latitudes are parallel lines. Okay, they are same distance apart. Okay, they do not meet at the poles. North Pole, because that's longitude. And they do not use to measure or meet at the prime meridian. So in this case, it has to be A. Answer is A. They never meet. Again, parallel lines are lines same distance apart. Okay, doesn't matter if it's vertical, horizontal, diagonal. They're just the same line, same distance apart. Okay. Okay. Question number 4. The total measurements in degrees around the Earth is. Oh, this is kind of a tricky one. Okay, the total measurement in degrees. Okay, remember we used the measurement in degrees to measure latitude and longitude around the Earth. Okay. Is it A, 90 degrees, B, 180 degrees, or C, 360 degrees? Okay, so we know the Earth is not a square or a rectangle. It's in the shape of a sphere. Okay, so using our knowledge, okay, let's go back a map. Okay, so we know that this map doesn't show it, well, actually it does actually. So we know that the equator all the way across is 180. Okay, we know that the prime meridian is 90. Okay, the straight line is 90. Okay, so how we use that is that we simply do some math. We go 90 plus 90 for the equator plus 180. And our answer will be C, 360 degrees. Okay, so straight down the middle is 180, and straight across is also 180. So altogether we got 360. Okay, or we can break it up to see that anything north of the equator, in this case the prime meridian, is 90, south is 90, and straight across is 80. Okay, in this case we're going, or 90 times 4. Okay, the answer is 360. Question number 5. The expression 60 degrees west indicates either A, a line of latitude, B, a line of longitude, or C, the prime meridian. Okay, the expression 60 degrees west indicates what? Okay, so we know that latitude has to be either north or south, and longitude has to be east or west. In this case, looking at the question, it asks us the expression 60 degrees west. Our keyword is west. Where is west? Sorry, that's west. East or west. Okay. West, longitude. Okay? So that's why it's very important that we know our sense of direction, where we can decipher north, east, south, the west, okay, based on our knowledge, based on latitude. Latitude has to be north or south, and longitude has to be east or west. Okay. The next page, continue on assignment number 16. Okay, we got some fill in the blank questions. Fill in the blank questions. So basically, again, you have to read the statement and answer what is being asked. So again, as a class, we'll do some example together. So number 6 asks the line of latitude that goes across or go through Australia is labeled. Okay, so we're looking at latitude lines, and we're looking at Australia. So for this one, we need to go back to our map. This map right here. Uh-oh, I don't want that. There we go. So we're looking at Australia, which is right here. And we want to know which line that is latitude that goes through it. Again, latitude lines are horizontal lines. So we're looking at this line. This line goes through Australia, and we need to know what degrees it is. In this case, my picture's cut off on your page. It should be 30 degrees south. So on a blank line on that page, you will write 30 degrees south. Okay. The expression 90 degrees north indicates the location of. Again, we need to go back to our map. Again, 90 degrees north. And we need to know the location. Okay, so let's go back on our map. Can anyone point to where 90 degrees north is on the map? 90 degrees north? Where is 90 degrees north? Okay, well, based on our sense of direction, it has to be somewhere near the top. And right here is 90 degrees north. Okay, can anyone tell me that magical location is? Okay, so it's not any continent or country, but we know based on our knowledge, based on looking at maps, we know that it's the North Pole. Okay, so an acceptable answer for that one will be North Pole. Okay, we're at the very top. 90 degrees north. Again, so in that blank space, you were right. North Pole. Okay? So you start to understand how we start to do assignment number 16. Let's do one more as an example. Okay. The line of longitude passes through the middle of South America is labeled what? Okay. So longitude, middle of South America. So again, we need to go back to that map. We need to find South America. Can anyone tell me where South America is? If you point right here, you are correct. Okay, and we need to know the line of longitude that passes through the middle of South America. And longitude, we know, are vertical lines. So it has to be this line, or this line, or it could be this line. Okay, but the question asks the line that goes through the middle of South America. So it has to be this line right here. Okay, and based from looking at the units, it is 60 degrees west. So again, on that blank line, you'll write simply 60 degrees west. Okay, so pretty straightforward questions on assignment 16. Okay, first few is multiple choice. Okay, we did most of them together. And then on the second page, it's fill in a blank. Okay, so number 9 at the southernmost tip of Africa that lies between two lines of latitudes of. Okay, so again, we're looking at the continent of Africa. We're looking at two lines. Okay, latitude, write the units in. Okay, question 10, locate B. Point B is located at. So again, we'll go back to look at a map. Find where B is. Okay, B is right here in Europe. Okay, you're gonna locate that point. Okay, write it in latitude and longitude. Okay. Okay, 11, 30 degrees north, 150 degrees east indicate the location of point. Again, referring to the map, just different letters on it. What is that letter? What point is that located? 12, same thing. 30 degrees north, 150 west, locate that point. And question number 13, point A is located at. Again, I'm looking for latitude and longitude. Okay? So that right there, class, is assignment number 16. Using our knowledge on latitude and longitude, multiple choice, and filling in blanks. Okay? So if you have any questions while working on that assignments, or if you're confused and not sure what the question is asking, again, just let me know. Facebook me, email me, call me, okay? And that goes towards all assignments as well, okay? Again, don't be discouraged if you're stuck. Don't just give up. I know we're busy. I know we're working on more than one courses at the same time. But again, just slowly work away on it so that then we'll be able to write the exam or write the test, okay? So that pretty much wraps up PLAR history and geography in terms of the assignments, in terms of the course content and our lessons. So as promised, we're gonna spend some time right now and look at expectations that we can expect for your tests. Okay, so let's talk about that for the next few minutes. So I'm gonna pull up my course syllabus again. So as a class, everyone must have completed all their assignments before you can write the tests. Remember, this is the social studies component of PLAR. This is PLAR history and geography. So we kind of have two subjects or courses into one. Some students may need both halves, history and geography. Some don't, okay? Some may only need history, whereas some only need geography. So it depends on what requirements you have, what credits you're missing, and so forth. Okay, but most students need both. Again, if you're not sure, let us know and we'll sort that out for you. Okay, so before you can write the test, before I can send you a test, before you're eligible to write the test, you must have completed all your assignments. Okay, whether it's 1 to 8, 9 to 16, or 1 to 16. Okay, you must have completed all assignments. Okay, can't just be like, oh, Jonathan, I don't want to do assignment 8. I'm going to leave that and not do it. No, you have to do it. You have to at least attempt it. Okay, you must attempt all assignments and do fairly well. Once you have shown me that, or I get an understanding that you're confident or understand in the content material, then I will let you, or then you will be eligible to write the test. Okay, so again, just a reminder, history has 8 assignments, 1 to 8. We looked at Canada in the early 1900s, going all the way pretty much to modern day. Canada World War One, 20s, 30s, World War II, Japanese involvement. What happened after World War II? We looked at the province of Quebec and the Quiet Revolution, and we looked at Canada in terms of the Constitution Act and in terms of free trade with NAFTA. Okay, the same thing goes for geography. Okay, assignment 11 to assignment 18. That's somewhere wrong here. That should be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Okay, so again, assignments geography, assignment 9 to assignment 16. Again, we have spent time looking at NAFTA. We looked at human geography. Okay, we looked at Canada in terms of its economic standpoints, in terms of its trades, urban, military geography a little bit. And then we spent a lot of time looking at physical geography in terms of land formation, Canada's ecozones, current day environmental issues of global warming. And we also look at conservation in terms of protecting our land. And we concluded by looking at latitude and longitude. Okay, again, as a class, you must have completed all assignments. Okay, not do 1 or 2, have to do them all and do fairly well before I give you the green light before you can write the test. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you're missing an assignment or if you need to redo a few assignments, please make sure you do that before I allow you to do the test. Okay. So let's get to the format of the test a little bit. Let's talk about it. So your test or your exam, whatever you like to call it, you have 2 hours to complete the test if you are writing both sections at the same time. If not, you only have 60 minutes, an hour to write the test. Okay, so depending on what you need to write or when you want to write it, you only have an hour each to write the test, or if you're doing both at the same time, it is 2 hours. Again, different students may need different sections. Okay, some may decide to write one section of the test before they do the other section of the test. Okay, so just let me know. I'm pretty flexible, and we can sort that out. It is closed book. Okay, which means that you cannot use your notes, okay, while writing a test or the exam. There's closed book, no notes allowed whatsoever. Depending on where you're writing your tests or exams, if you are a local student here in Sioux Lookout, it will be supervised by myself. If you're writing in your community at your learning center, it will be supervised by your DEC. Okay, all tests or exam must be written at your learning center. You cannot take it home and write it. Okay, you have to write it at your learning center. Okay, so either myself if you're in town or your DEC will supervise. Okay, which means that if you have any questions while writing your tests, you can talk to your DC, or you can simply ask me if a question or so doesn't make sense or you need clarification. There's also no use of mobile devices, okay? So no cell phones, again, it's closed book. You can't Google the answer, you can't search the answer on your tablet or on your phone. No phone, same standards pretty much anywhere, okay? I know that won't be your problems, but I just want you to emphasize it and say it. Okay, so closed book, no mobile devices are allowed. And your test and your exam is simply a pass or a fail situations, which means you simply just need 50% or higher in order to pass, in order to get that credit. Okay, you don't need 75 or 80. Okay, all you need is 50% or higher. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Also, if somehow we are unsuccessful writing the tests or the exam the first time, it is not the end of the world. There's no need to be nervous. No need to panic. Okay, you do have a second shot of writing it again. Okay, so again, it's always good to write it the first time. That way, you know what to expect, so that you can better prepare for the next time. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, it's not the end of the world if you're incomplete the first time. If you're incomplete the second time, then we'll figure that out when that comes. But hopefully we won't get to that, and hopefully no one gets to that point. Okay, so again, only 50% or higher in order to pass, in order to get your credit. But please make sure you try to attempt all questions, so that way I can at least try to give you part marks whenever I can. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So that's your test and your exam. Pretty much standard for all PLAR subjects, give or take. Okay, just keep that in mind. So let's get to some examples of what you can expect. If you want a copy of this sample test for history and geography, again, just let me know. I can send it to you. You can practice. Again, please make sure you study before you write the exam, write the test. It will definitely help. Okay. Again, you have an hour each to write the section, but most students will need an hour to complete it. But again, you do have that full hour to write it. Okay. So as promised, let's get to some example questions on what you can expect or what the format may be when writing your test. So history and geography, the format is exactly the same. Okay, there's 3 different versions, whether it's A, B, or C. Okay, I will pick which version I'll send off to you or your DC, and then you just simply write that version. Okay, different questions, similar but different question in terms of version A, B, or C. So you should just keep that in mind. Okay, so for history and geography, simply I'll give you the tests. There's a passage, just an article for each section. Simply, you just have to read the section and answer the question that's being asked. Okay. All the answers, by the way, are on the article, on the passage that you must read. Okay. So, for example, okay, it could be a question about the Great Depression. Okay. The stock market crash, what happened took place in the 20s and the 30s. Again, you simply just have to read the section, read the article, or skim through it. All the answers are in here, and using that knowledge, you just have to answer what's being asked. Okay? So for example, let's look at some example questions. These won't be the exact questions that you will see, but they can be similar to the format. Question number 1, when did the New York stock market crash? Okay, so an acceptable answer would be the New York stock market crash in October 1929. Okay, see how it's in full complete sentences. Okay, it's the same format for your assignments is what I'm looking for. Okay, you want full marks, details, full complete sentences. Okay. Again, if you're unsure what the answer is, it's in a passage. Okay. The New York stock market crash in October 1929. Okay. Answers are all right there. Okay. There will be like opinion-based questions such as, what do you think? Do you think or do you feel? Or whatnot. Okay. In that case, you're giving your opinion, but some opinion must be supported by the details or facts from the article. So, for example, question number 4, you have just learned about the 4 causes of the Great Depression. Which one do you think was the most important or more significant cause? Be sure to explain your answer. And of course, why? Why do you think that way? Okay, again, all the answers in the passage. Okay, so you don't have to read it, all the answers right there. Okay, geography, same thing. Okay, you're reading the article that's given based on the material that we learn. Okay, in this case, this example talks about water. Okay, and you simply have to read the questions and answer it as follows. For example, what percentage of water does Canada have in respect to the rest of the world? Okay, so reading the first line and reading the first paragraph, water is essential to support the enjoyment of life. Nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered in water, and Canada has almost 10% of that water, making us a nation which is a resource rich in water. Canada has roughly 20% of the world's groundwater, which is the source of well water that supports many of our homes. Okay, so going back to question number 1, what percentage of water does Canada have in respect to the rest of the world? Canada has almost 10% of the water. Okay, again, no surprises. Okay, if you have done all the assignments, took time to read the textbook, have a good grasp of the knowledge, sometimes you don't even need to read the passage. The answers are just right in front of you. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so no surprises, but please make sure you still study. Okay, Canada has almost 10% of the world's water. Okay, simple, straightforward. Again, full, complete sentences, details. Okay. Again, 2 hours. You're writing both, an hour each, closed book, supervised by your DC at your learning center. No devices are allowed. Pass or fail situations. All you need is 50%, and you do get a second shot if somehow we are unsuccessful the first time. Okay? Again, if you have any questions, let me know. If you want a copy of that sample test to practice, again, let me know and I'll send it off. Okay? No need to worry, no need to panic. Okay? All right, so that pretty much wraps up this term. Okay, it has been a great term, term 2A for PLAR History and Geography. So right now, let's talk about what's happening next week. What's happening next week? So next week will be term 2B. Okay, this is our last term before graduation. Okay, which pretty much wraps up the year. So if you are potential grad students, continue to work super hard on your courses so that you can finish and be graduate in June. Okay, by doing that, you get a free trip to Sioux Lookout, you get prizes and gifts, and most importantly, you get your high school diploma certificate. Okay? So again, doesn't matter if you're a potential grad, a regular student, a PLAR student, a senior PLAR student, just continue to work hard in the next 9 weeks or so that we can finish marking and that you'll be eligible to graduate in June if you qualify. Okay? But next week, term 2B. Okay? PLAR History and Geography. Okay, PLAR History and Geography with myself again. We have a brand new time slot once again since it is a brand new term. We're still and always will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, that won't change or that will never change. Okay, but again, we do have a new time slot. Okay, this time we're in the afternoon, late afternoon, or early evenings. Classes will be running at 4 p.m. Whoa, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. live here in Lookout in the studio. That is Central Time, by the way. Okay, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, an hour Central Time here live. If you're on the Eastern Time Zone, that is simply 5 till 6 Eastern. Okay, so a brand new time slot. Okay, there's no midweek next week. Okay, so we're not taking a break. We're starting the fun once again from the very, very top, which means that on this coming Tuesday, I will go over my new office hours, the course syllabus, the study guide once again, going over all my expectation for the class, starting from the very top in the history half, looking at lesson number 1, Canada in the early 1900s, and then as the week goes by, we'll finish the things off like we did today, looking at geography. But again, term 2B, that's next week. Okay, mark that on your calendar, circle it next week. Okay, that goes for all classes too. Okay, all PLAR classes. Okay, no a midweek, we're right back at it. Okay, which means that PLAR English will be Mondays and Wednesday, 4 to 5. PLAR Math and PLAR Science will be pretty much at nighttime. I think they're going at 9 to 10 Central Time, which is way past my bedtime, by the way. So just keep that in mind. If you are PLAR students, all PLAR classes are broadcasted, recorded live in the afternoon and evenings next week for next term, term 2B. Okay? So in the meantime, class, students, everyone, please work hard on finishing up your assignment. It's going to be a busy term. People want to finish, okay? People will be working hard so that they can finish what they can if they want to graduate or get to the point where they want to achieve their goal or whatnot, okay? So work hard on it. Again, if you have any questions, stop by Wausau and Sioux Lookout, located on Front Street next to the post office. Come say hi. Be more than welcome to help you. We're going to